Hello and welcome. My name is Brian Oles, president and founder here at Black Speakers Network, and we are thrilled to have you join us for the Black Mental Health Speaker Series. As we dive into our theme, progressing from stigmas to solutions, we encourage you to contribute to the dialogue by participating in the chat. Now, as you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this is a time to spotlight the importance of mental health, especially within the Black community. As we come together for these enlightening discussions, we hope to raise awareness, foster understanding, and contribute to the journey of emotional wellness for us all. This speaker series is broken into 6 parts, divided into 3 sessions, airing each day. So, no matter what part you're joining us for, we encourage you to go ahead and watch the entire series. You definitely don't want to leave anything on the table. The speakers you're about to hear from are leading and emerging experts as well as advocates in the mental health and wellness space. Each speaker is also a proud member of Black Speakers Network. We will be talking about very important issues today. So before we begin, I want to ask you to go ahead and spread the word to your family, friends, people in your community, networks, companies that should be a part of this conversation. You can click the share button or simply just share the link and invite folks into the conversation. A few final notes before we get started. Number one, the speaker series is just one of hundreds of speaking opportunities shared across the Black Speakers Network ecosystem. So if you are a current or aspiring speaker looking for your next stage, I want to invite you to learn more. You can head over to blackspeakersnetwork.com/join. And on the other hand, if you are a meeting planner, conference or event organizer, or a host, and you're looking for the perfect speaker for your next event, I would love to connect with you as well. You can browse, find our online speakers directory, or submit a speaker request for your next event by using the links in the description for this video. Now, that out the way, let's go ahead and get kicked off. Thank you so much again for being here and joining us on this journey, and welcome to the Black Mental Health Speaker Series. Let's go.
Hello, I am Pastor Briggitte P. Brown, and I am a licensed clinical social worker. I am the owner of my group practice called Spirit, Soul, and Body Clinical Services, and I have also been the executive pastor of Right Now Ministries for the last 18 years. The title of my presentation is Authentically Healing Trauma, and my subtopic is the role of spirituality and religion in Black mental health. So it's only been since about 2011 that I became committed to raising trauma awareness within the church community. My hope is to educate and to normalize that we can in fact have both our faith and a therapist, and that we can get comfortable with creating these safe spaces within our faith communities and begin to break the silence of trauma. We can indeed believe, trust, and have faith in God, and we can begin to heal the generational traumas that have been plaguing our Black and Brown communities for centuries. We are now just beginning to highlight and investigate the role of spirituality and religion in promoting mental health and well-being within the Black community. The church has always been a staple for information and a safe haven. And quite honestly, Black communities will go to a pastor for prayer before they even go to a doctor, let alone a therapist. So it's important for Black and Brown professionals to be the face of information sharing and also at the table of conversation. There is an importance of normalizing mental health, trauma recovery, and our spirituality, especially after COVID. Information just seems to finally be seeping into the walls of the church, but we need to be proactive, we need to be intentional, and unfortunately, it has come with a cost. After so many mass shootings, pastors and parishioners committing suicide, we have sexual and physical abuse happening. We see police brutality, poverty, domestic violence in communities, and everything is destroying our generations within our Black community. The people who go to our churches for solitude and to find God have suffered silently. And we have to be equipped to reach our community and to create the spaces within the walls of the church. Both spirituality and trauma recovery are important, especially within the context of our faith. We do not need to choose between our faith and our traumatic experiences. It's all relevant. And it has also played a role in who we are. But what we need are these safe spaces to talk about it, to heal, to overcome the barriers that have been keeping us silent. We are passing on these patterns to the next generation and unanswered questions, and we're being lost in translation. I have personally traveled this road of healing within the context of my therapist's office and the spiritual connection with God in the church. On my journey, I found that I was not aligned. I had parts of me in the church, I had other parts of me in the clinical office, and my body was affected by the disconnection between my mind and my body. And I was plagued with cancer because I could not heal my emotional wounds. I was unhealthy and I had trauma. It was only when I began to talk it out, eat properly, incorporate movement, connect with my faith in God, and meet with my therapist that I began to heal my body. And I released the years of silence and I healed. Honestly, sometimes the religious structures that I was affiliated with did not allow for this level of freedom in healing. I needed to be free. And it only focused on the spiritual part of me. But I'm also a soul, living in a body. And it's important for us to support people on their healing journeys without judgments. We heal when we are able to tell our stories in non-judgmental spaces. They are able to embrace their authentic stories and experiences and begin to shift into healing and take back the things that have disconnected them from themselves and from God because of their trauma. Prayer and counseling have been vital resources for me to connect with God and my body again. So let us offer this same opportunity for those who are silently disconnecting from themselves and suffering in silence. My personal story has guided the constellation of all parts of ourselves, our spirits, our souls, and our body. It's this vital essence of balance that we can heal and be whole. We can be free and accept our stories, and we can authentically heal from trauma within our community. Raising awareness for people to heal and be able to authentically heal all their parts themselves is vital for this work in evolving into our authentic selves. We heal when we can tell our truth in non-judgmental spaces. Let's take back our narrative and heal our communities. Thank you so much for this time. I am Pastor Briggitte P. Brown, licensed clinical social worker, and I can be reached at authenticallyhealingpodcast.com and on social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, Briggitte P. Brown. Thank you so much for your time.
Hi everyone, I hope all is well with you. My name is Dr. Chanell Sermon and I present to you Healing Starts With You. The reason why I want to address the topic surrounding intergenerational healing, because I know what it's like to grow up as a child and not have that emotional support or psychological support from your family. Some people feel like because when you're in a two-parent home, everything it should be peaches and cream. You have two parents, so that means that your problems are solved. No, I want to let you know, growing up in a two-parent home where both your parents are projecting their trauma onto you is scary. So both my parents at some point, they took body shots at me about my weight, how I looked and things like that. And then That hurts coming from your parents, and not only your parents, other people in your family as well, when they say hurtful things about your body, like as if, you can control your DNA. And I can understand weight, but as a child, it should be dealt with in a better way. But body shaming was one of the things I had to go through. Being put in a position of where I really couldn't win with them. It was when my parents would argue, and they would argue so much, they would ask us, because I have siblings, they would ask us who started it. And when we were real young, we would always take one side. And then when I started getting older and they would do that, I decided, you know what, I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to just stay out of it. I didn't want to pick anymore. And when I did that, you would have thought that somebody would have tried to understand. But because my parents were dealing with their own trauma and their own agenda, they ridiculed me for that. They were picking at how I didn't want to get involved with their arguments. Okay. Another time was when I was younger, and one of my cousins got into a fight, and we had just got off the bus and a girl was fighting my cousin, and I was going to stay there and break up the fight. And I had my younger sister there with me, and I told my younger sister to go back to the house and tell my parents that there's a fight down here. My cousin is fighting. And so in that moment, I didn't know what to do as a child. But I was like, okay, go tell them that they're fighting. But my sister wouldn't go and tell them that they were fighting. So I decided, well, let me just go ahead and go back to the house with my sister, let them know they're fighting so we could go ahead and stop the fight. And, they came and resolved it. But later on, guess what? I got called a coward. And I got called the coward for many years. Instead of trying to understand why I did what I did, I got labeled. So not only did I get labeled for my weight and what I did and being ridiculed whenever I tried to do the right thing, I got labeled. And so for years, I've dealt with self-confidence issues, self-esteem issues, and it's unfortunate that sometimes people cannot see the things that they do to children and how that impacts their lives when they grow up. And so, needless to say, when I entered into my college years, my confidence, it was very low. My self-esteem was very low. My self-worth was very low. I did not have a whole lot of self-respect. And so healing starts with you. And I want to say this. If you're looking for someone else to heal you by saying, I'm sorry, I didn't know that I hurt you, you might want to be careful with that, because not everybody's ready to say that. And that's just cold, hard facts. Okay, so you have to be the partaker in your own healing. You have to give closure to those that are not willing to say, I'm sorry for hurting you. I didn't realize that I caused that pain to you. And I learned that when years later, after I started my career in education, I felt that, okay, I knew so much about learning about self-esteem and self-confidence and what it has done to me, where I was mentally with that. So I decided I want to go back and address my family and say, hey, y'all, look, this is what I went through. And I just want y'all to understand, this is what I suffered through. And did y'all know that no one wanted to take responsibility for the trauma, for the things that they said to me over the years, the names that they called me, how they treated me? Oh, in fact, they just said, oh, well, you need a therapist and you this. I always knew something was wrong with you. Those were the things that were being said to me. Even though I opened up to say I had pain about these things. And so I had to move on because they were not willing to accept that as a child, there were times they called me crazy. They said I was this, they said I was that. And so you know what? I started my healing when I started doing things opposite of what they said about me. When people said that I was going to flunk out of college, I went on and I got 3 degrees. Now I'm a doctor of education. When people said that I wasn't pretty enough and things like that, you know what I did? Because I wanted to, I started entering into a pageant system. And now I have 3 titles, okay? And I've held it on state, national, and international levels. So I say this because when you are serious about your healing, it doesn't matter what anyone says about you. You can change the narrative of your story. You have to get away from the place that started the trauma, get away from the people, and start taking control over your mental health. If you feel that getting away from the environment, from the people, cutting off all toxic relationships are not helping you, do not be afraid to reach out to a mental health provider. Now, with reaching out to a mental health provider, if you are not happy with the services, you are not obligated to stick with that person. So you can seek help from someone that makes you feel comfortable. I say this because in my journey with learning more about mental health and hearing stories, I've learned that there are times where people went to seek help, that they were mistreated in the medical field. And every field have their share of people that are not qualified on a moral level to be there. But concerning your mental health, you definitely need to make a sound decision, align yourself with a provider that makes you feel comfortable concerning getting help. Also, do the things that you want to do in life. If you were told during your journey that you were this, that, and everything else that you wanted to be, and people told you that that was not you, do things for yourself to prove to yourself that you are more than what your past have told you. Move forward. Also, too, you can forgive them, those that have hurt you, those that have scarred you on the inside. You can forgive them, but it does not mean that you have to allow them to continue to do those things to you. What I had to do is understand that what they did out of pure ignorance. They did not understand that they have hurt me. And whether they want to understand it or not, that ability to hurt me again is no longer in their grip. Now I can move on. Now I can say, hey, since you don't understand what you have done has hurt me, until you're ready to have that conversation, I'm going to move on. I'm going to do bigger and better things with or without you on my side. And it's all good from here. So we have to understand that healing, it begins with you. It begins with you taking control of your life, meaning don't settle for relationships, friendships, any type of family ties that have you feeling as if you're not good enough, as if you are undeserving, and just do what makes you happy. Okay, so if you want to know more about me, you can visit IamPrettyDoc.com. You can do that and you will be able to access the things that I've been doing with my life since I started speaking and doing pageantry and things like that. So you all, thank you for listening to this presentation. And just remember, healing starts with you.
Greetings. My name is Dr. Chelece-Atavia Brown. I'm a licensed social worker and therapist, and I've been in the field for over 6 years. I'm extremely passionate about bridging the gap between the Christian faith and mental health. The title of today's presentation is Embodying Freedom, Addressing Mental Health in the Black Church, Utilizing Trauma-Informed Care. So what is trauma? Trauma is an emotional response to a distressing event, such as any form of abuse, an accident, or natural disaster. An event becomes traumatic when its adverse effects produces feelings of helplessness and lack of control, and a thought of one's survival may be in danger. A trauma-informed ministry is when religious care providers have a basic understanding of the nature of trauma and how it impacts a person's overall quality of life. And a person who may be traumatized, how that impacts their relationship with God and their relationship with others and their understanding of spirituality. Trauma-informed care utilizes a comprehensive approach to an individual's care. It's not limited to clinical work, and trauma-informed care is encouraged to engage on organization levels to increase the wellness of staff and individuals receiving care. So there are 4 R's related to trauma. The first one is realization. So realization about trauma and its effects on people and groups. The second is recognizing the signs of trauma. Third is having a system that effectively responds to trauma. And last is resisting re-traumatization and increasing the well-being of individuals. So here's a 6-step model that churches can use to ensure that they are trauma-informed. So reshaping the church culture through a trauma-informed lens, it will create a safe environment for members and leaders. Step 1 is safety. So this includes physical safety, emotional and relational safety. Is the environment conducive for vulnerable populations to be free and included without shaming and condemnation? Second is trustworthiness. Are leaders transparent with their congregants? Is there a level of humility when teaching and preaching sermons or Bible studies to ensure congregants feel connected and not isolated? 3 is peer support. Ensuring confidentiality guidelines are implemented to prevent personal information being spread throughout the congregation. And it's also for leaders in the church to enforce self-care practices. You are unable to lead effectively if you are not emotionally well. When dealing with trauma survivors, you have to ensure that you have the emotional capacity to pour what they need into them and to make the environment safe. 4, collaboration. Connecting with other ministries and organizations to gain resources and knowledge needed so you can properly assist vulnerable populations and display the gospel by the love of Christ. 5 is empowerment, voice, and choice. Giving opportunities to traumatized individuals to minister and share their testimony at different events conducted by the church, because this adds value to their gift and their story, and it empowers them for self-advocacy. Lastly, we have cultural, historical, and gender issues. Leaders and members having the ability to identify cultural issues because of trauma, creating a safe space for individuals to express themselves and not judging based on the lifestyle they had prior to becoming a Christian. This 6-step model will significantly decrease pastoral burnout. So church leaders will be able to identify when they need to refer out to a mental health professional. It will also motivate congregants and church leaders to engage in therapy for themselves. It increases emotional, physical, and the mental well-being among leaders and congregants. It will dispel the stigma and increase spiritual support while receiving mental health services. It'll also increase cultural competence about trauma survivors. So what does it mean to embody freedom? 1, acknowledge your pain. 2, give yourself space to unpack and process your pain with a professional. 3, feel your emotions. 4, exhale and be vulnerable. 5, live authentically. A lot of times people ask me, Dr. Brown, what do you mean by Jesus cares about my trauma? He cares about the experience, but he also cares about the behaviors as a result of the experience. He cares about the anger, frustration, isolation, self-sabotage, intrusive thoughts, mood swings, and everything else under the sun. Other humans may grow tired and weary of your actions, but he's with you every step of the way. He's with you to help you change, to shift, and to break out of cycles that decrease your quality of life. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you what it means to embody freedom, how to address mental health in the Black church, and the solution of trauma-informed care to implement in your ministry. If you would like to stay connected, you can email me at hello@chelece-brown.com. I'll repeat that again. That's hello@CHELECE brown.com, and we will stay connected. Enjoy your day.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Jen checking in. How you living? How you feel? Let's talk about the youthful of. Yes. My name is Jenise Albritton. I go by Jen Lo Inspires because I aspire to help those along this journey called life get to the person that God destined and ordained them to be. Our youth, oh my gosh, especially in the Black community, you know, mental health is looked over so much. We don't even think about it. We just say, hey, I buy you clothes, shoes, I send you to school, I make sure you eat, I pay the bills, you got a roof over your head, you get from point A to B, and that's it. You know, I actually had a conversation, my father passed in May 2021, about hugs. I realized as an adult why I wasn't really a hugger. I really didn't hug at home with my mom. And then my dad, it was like, you know, we'd hug, but it wasn't like, not until I really left. When I moved away from home, it was like I got the longest hug I'd ever had in life. Okay? I realized by having a conversation with my father that affection was not really shown in that way. It was just discipline and making sure that you knew to do the right thing in certain situations, how to stay out of trouble. The reinforcements was harsh. So being at home, let's talk about positive reinforcements and encouraging words. It's a different way to do things today than to always use the rod, as quote unquote, as the Bible said. There's a way of loving and talking to the youth that they understand that, hey, you made a mistake. How can we go from here and correct it and learn from it and move forward? In today's world where technology is overtaking everything. It's so easy for kids and youth to go to the social media platforms and express themselves. And they don't know always how to do that. So what goes in them from home comes out at school, comes out online, comes out to friends, comes out to family members. So we have to make sure that at home, where you have first dibs, that you're sowing positive things into them, like young king, young queen, princess, young prince. Your black is beautiful. Believe it or not, you guys, I grew up being called Blackie, and the color of my skin was like, why am I so dark? I almost want to peel it off, and it took me a long time to get to that point where I appreciated the blackness that I am in. There's so many youth that they look at someone that, we have this thing where they look at someone else and they just do not like who they are, because it was not reinforced at home. So we have to have the love talk, the love walk and talk with me. Let's have a genuine conversation about what you're experiencing, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about others, how you feel about the environments that you're in. So now that when you have those conversations, now they have conversations with you. I am one, I will tell you, I have self-talks every morning in the mirror. Okay? Yes. All right? I have them. Journaling. Okay? I used to write poems as a child, and that was my outlet. When I couldn't verbally communicate with my mom, I just write poems. And I started writing letters to God, right? So something, that's not in schools anymore is prayer. They say the Pledge of Allegiance, but they don't say prayer. Now, there are prayer groups. So this is where, if you're praying at home, right, it always starts at home. If you're praying at home, that's the covering and protection. That's part of self-love. You love yourself enough to talk to God first and let him, as my dad would say, let God lead you. Okay? That's protection. Anytime I went anywhere, did anything, my dad would grab my hand and we would pray. So that's taught at home. That's part of self-love. That's part of self-care. To make sure that you're protected through the day, that you're, God help me lead me through the day in a positive way, that my mouth, the things that I speak, help speak life into someone else. As a kid, as a youth, I believe they understand that. I got saved at the age of 7. I completely understood what it meant when I gave my life to Christ at 7 years old. That was a birthday present to me. I understood that things changed around me as well. So if you don't see prayer at school, be the prayer. Start your own group, and that's something that, again, the conversation that we can have with our youth to help, because I truly believe that once I got saved, my path shifted. It changed, and there was a light ignited inside of me. And I would tell you, I was one of the top students all through school. Okay, so I believe that helped a lot, especially growing up in the household that I was in. Okay, so be the prayer. If it's not there, be that. Okay, so doing what's right versus what's easy. Peer pressure. Okay, peer pressure can be really, really heavy. And so we have to teach our youth, I believe, through that prayer and having that conversation with God, it gives discernment that, hey, maybe this person might not be the best for me to hang around. Maybe I see them doing something that I know isn't right. Maybe I should say something, right? This is where Be the Prayer, it all ties in. Maybe I can help that person and show them it's a better way. Maybe I can have a conversation with them, because the kids are going to have conversations either way. It doesn't matter what age they are having conversations, but what type of conversations are they having? There's youth, there's children who can speak a mighty word, because that's what was given to them. That's what they were taught. They were taught self-love, self-care early. And so you can teach your children how to speak life and empower themselves and empower others around them. Every leader needs a feeder. And our youth are the future leaders. They're the politicians, the teachers, the preachers, the CEOs, so they're the ones who's going to be leading this amazing world. It's great to have a leader that understands, that communicate properly, that is full of love, because they know that self-love is the best love, and that is what they spread, that's what they give out, that's what it exudes, it's oozing out of them, right? But it starts at home. It really starts at home. So hopefully at home, maybe journals catering to the creative, music, arts, whatever they may be, and letting them know it's okay to communicate transparently, honestly, with self-love, with care, respect, and honor. Okay? So you can find me online at Jenlo Inspires, that's Jenlo Inspires, INSPIRES, and Second Chance 21013, where I do self book reads and just an amazing community of people that share positivity, love, and things going on in the community. Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you so much for tuning into my session, Therapy on a Budget, How to Save Time and Money While Getting the Care You Need. My name is Jessica Smith, and I'll be presenting this content. A little bit about me. I am a Baltimore, Maryland native. I am a mental health advocate, a social entrepreneur, writer, and a mindful meditation instructor. I'm also the founder and director of the Mental Health Emergency Fund Incorporated. So what we're going to cover in this quick session is, number one, how to identify your needs, learning the different providers that are available to you as you think about saving time and money, how to save money, so different resources to plug into when you're thinking about therapy. And thirdly, how to save time. So developing an actual process for screening potential therapists. That's something very important that I don't think enough people talk about. So I'm excited to dig in. So there are a lot of different mental health practitioners out there, mental health providers, mental health therapists, just mental health people in the profession. So psychologists actually have doctoral degrees. So these are the ones who have PhDs and can treat more severe mental illnesses, such as psychosis. More often than not, they are actually in the field doing research, which is why they have obtained their PhD. A lot of times they do have private practices, so you can see a psychologist at a private practice and seek them that way. Psychiatrists. So psychiatrists actually are medical doctors who prescribe medication along with their treatment. So they actually have to go through 4 years of medical school, 4 years of residency, and their specialty is psychiatry. So they are an actual medical doctor versus a talk therapist. They can prescribe medication. Now, what is also something to note is that nurse practitioners can also prescribe this medication as well. So you might want to see a nurse practitioner who specializes in psychiatry. A therapist is a clinician who treats a mental health condition. That's a kind of a broad range for what a therapist is. A lot of times, therapy is used in a number of ways. So you can have an art therapist, a music therapist, a mental health therapist, a talk therapist, a sound therapist, right? So they treat mental health concerns. They often have master's degrees. So some common therapists are licensed clinical social workers and licensed marriage and family therapists. And then finally, counselors. So counselors actually focus on short-term, concrete, specific life changes. So addiction counselors, grief counselors, abuse counselors, pastoral counselors. These are counselors who are seeing you for a specific period of time. You might go to them with specific goals, and you may not be seeing them as much, and they might not be able to take your insurance. So all these things are really important to think about when you consider what your needs are and how you select a therapist. So very many ways to save money when you're thinking about therapy or seeking help. So the first thing I would encourage you to do is check with your insurance. What insurance do you have? What are their coverages? A lot of times you can call the number on the back of your card and ask what their behavioral health benefits are. You would want to find in-network providers because most often you would only have to pay a copay versus paying for the full session. You also want to check with your employer if you are employed. A lot of companies offer certain amounts of sessions in their benefits package through a particular employee resource group. And so just check with your employer to see if you have those benefits. You never know unless you ask. Third thing to do is ask about pro bono or sliding scale therapy with someone you might already be seeing. Maybe you've already kind of built a rapport with them, and you may be in a different financial situation. They know you, they know that you are reliable, consistent, you show up to your appointments, and maybe ask if they can, maybe put you on a payment plan, if they have pro bono rates or sliding scale, or even if you don't already have that relationship with them, see if there are any sites that provide that information. So Open Path Collective is a site that I definitely encourage you to do. If you live in Maryland, pro bono counseling is a site that I refer people in my network to. Community resources like the Mental Health Emergency Fund and Loveland Foundation, I'm sure there are plenty others, provide stipends for those who need support with therapy. So look into your local community resources to see if there are ways that provide you with low cost or free therapy. And then finally, how do you find a good fit? Now, I'm not saying that this is a specific A to F timeline or that you have to try all these things. Do what works for you. But I kind of wanted to put it in a way that was easy to kind of follow along. If I'm thinking about walking a person from very beginning to actually getting on the phone with a potential provider, right? So you want to know your needs. Know if you are wanting to see a psychiatrist, if you're wanting to see a counselor or a therapist, back to that first step. Know what your non-negotiables are. Maybe you want to see a Black woman, a Black man, someone in the queer community, know what your non-negotiables are. And then know the difference between a non-negotiable and just a preference. Sometimes we have a preference for something and realize that, oh, okay, this person, even though I really wanted this, they were able to meet me exactly where I was, and I was happy. So I've heard a few women talk about them having therapists who are men. I personally have never tried having a therapist who is a man, but maybe that can be something that I try in the near future, right? So just something to think about. I would definitely say to ask trusted voices. So maybe you have a referral from your primary care physician or your doctor who would be able to refer you to a therapist in their network or someone that they know of, someone who their clients see. Ask friends, family members who you know are in therapy, who have great results. Ask those trusted voices, get that firsthand experience. That's definitely going to be great in terms of referrals. I would also say search a popular directory. So therapyforblackgirls.com, that is one of the first places that I send people who live outside of Maryland. If they live in Maryland, I definitely send them to my therapy directory. But therapyforblackgirls.com, Therapy for Black Men. There are also platforms I've seen online like Therapy for Black Moms, Therapy for Black Kids. So search those directories to really see what's out there. And when you're searching, read some reviews, see if there's ratings. Psychology Today is a trusted national website, and the American Psychological Association, they actually have to be listed on some of those websites. And so you can read the reviews, see what clients are saying about them. That's obviously a great strategy. And then you also want to potentially, use social media to your advantage, listen to interviews, check out what's happening on social media, what their following is like, how they're engaging with their followers. Maybe they have a podcast like Dr. Joy Bradford on Therapy for Black Girls. I hope I said her name right. She has a whole podcast. So find out what type of media they're putting out. Maybe they have a blog. See what content they produce, see if you kind of vibe with the personalities. Maybe they go on live on Instagram Live or Facebook Live. Really see kind of if they're going to be a good fit and if you vibe with them. And then the last thing I would say is to get on their schedule, do a free 15-minute consultation. Many therapists provide those free consultations so you can get their personalities through the phone, ask questions, and you're not committed, right? You're just kind of dating around until you find that good fit. It could take some time, but I definitely think it's worth it. So in conclusion, make sure you identify your needs, knowing the type of provider that you want, knowing your time and budget, do your homework, research all you can to find your best fit, and then trust the process. It will work out. If you are committed to the journey, it will work out for you. I am definitely sure of it. If you liked this content, please follow me on social media, Mental Health Emergency Fund, that's Instagram. And then on my website, you can download a free giveaway of this content in article format. So website is www.mentalhealthemergencyfund.org, and you can download it there. Thank you so much. Take care.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Michael Wynn. I'm from Detroit, Coach Wynn. I am a habit success strategist, financial motivator, author, and speaker. And I am so happy to talk to you about mental awareness in this month of May, which is Mental Awareness Month. I believe that being true to ourselves can improve our emotional well-being. But it had not always been that way for me. I'm in a great space now, but I went through the trials and tribulations of mental illness. And I want to talk to you about habits. That's right, habits don't lie. At a young age, for me, at 13 years old, I always dreamed about being that business person, modeling and having a business like my great-grandfather who had a farm. And when we go to that farm, he taught us the business of farming. It was a business, right? He would say, write the plan, work the plan. Through that whole process, I dreamed about having my own business, which I did. I started at 13 years old with a paper route, and I would find things in the garbage. I would take them and resell them. Through my years of working, I came across so many different careers and career paths. I was in finance. I did income taxes. I did financial auditing. I even became a licensed builder. At one time, I even was at the flea market doing income taxes and accounting. So I had a career path that went in different directions, but uniquely, I was able to land some real good positions. One, becoming the auditor in charge of the first casino built in Detroit on the state side as a regulator. And during that time, I was so happy that I elevated to a position that I had responsibility, I was involved, and I can make a difference. With my past background in finance and construction, it really helped me out, right? I was on a construction monitoring team as well as the financial auditing teams, the background checks. But all of those things were really well. They worked well. But it came to a point that I was so frustrated and not knowing why. Could be stress. But that was the normal beat of my game that I can roll with it. Until I started taking that stress home, my environment became chaotic. Verbal abuse. I didn't even understand the person that I was. But I refused to get help right away because I thought that I could handle it. Till one day I had an exhausting attack in the casino and I was carried out on that. The end result is I found out that I had a bipolar depression disorder. And what that disorder did for me is it took me in different places that I didn't want to be in. In fact, when I got together with the psychiatrist and the therapist, they said that they want to work this plan, which included some powerful medication, which it took me a while to even get in that position to understand what they were saying. Why would I need lithium, then Prozac and Depakote? That was a scary thought for me. I fought it until I accept the responsibilities of getting off or getting in tune to where I needed to be. But the frustrations that came with the medication and the side effects crippled me to a point where I was lonely. I didn't feel right. I had to do something. One day I was so excited and so elated that my therapist, spending that unique time with a therapist, they always take a deep dive in you, in which she told me, why don't I practice the things that brought me to the accomplishments that I make in working, like habits. I took that notion of building my recovery pathway on habits. That's right. Visualize faith. Be real. Target success. No money. Live health. Just win. Think, repeat. Those 7 habits I came up with because I wanted to visualize faith to see where I can be in a moment that I'm not on medication, that I'm happy, and I'm in an environment with people that love and care for me. I wanted to be authentic because the authentic Michael was happy. I didn't want to change just because I was going through some things, but I wanted to work a habit plan to make me happy. I wanted to target success to do the things that I needed to do, like stay focused, keep trying, connect with the things that's going to help you move to the next level, not be a part of too much. And yeah, I had to know money. Even though I was on the finance side and I audited millions of dollars, the personal side was crippling me because with my disorder, I would spend money for whatever reason. My kids would say, did you plan on remodeling the kitchen? And I would buy things and leave things around, not knowing why, and do the different things that I did that led me to bankruptcy just because I wasn't taking control and understanding no money so that I can take those instruments of resources and funds to create generational wealth and legacy brought me to the new lights of habits and live health. Because with money and bad health, they don't connect. Live health means that I had to get up and meditate, keep the TV off, social media out of my life for at least 2 to 3 hours, Meditate and pray towards that day. Create those goals that was going to really help me, you know? I had to really focus on how I wanted to spend my day. Live Health brought me to affirmation, impactful affirmations, affirmations that led to me to believe in myself, right? And just win, my birthright. But a unique way of winning. Taking every day as a celebration to win on for something. The goals that you set drive towards winning. And that's what I thought about. That process of just winning. And pat myself on the back made me feel good that I had to do it over and over and over. And that last habit of think, repeat is that process that got me through step by step. You tweak, you move forward, and you do the same thing over. That create that habit of that cure, that habit, that routine, that habit that gets you that reward. Yeah, I had some hard times in the casino when I was on my medication in the stairwell, just wondering, am I going to get through this? Those days I cried, those days that hurt, those days I sat on the curb, even at work, when I had money in my hand to go spend away on something crazy or make the right decision. And then there was those times that I just didn't want to be here. So what I had to do is develop the habits of loving and caring for myself. Remember I said, being true to ourselves, improve our own emotional well-being. Because you see, with good habits, habits don't lie. We create pathways of becoming better people. The people, the influencers, the helpmates, the drivers, directors, leaders that we are on this planet to be, on this planet to help, on this planet to make this world a better place. It takes us to be focused on how. And doing that put me in the right position that I can say every day. I use my habit matrix to make myself connected to happiness and to happy and positive people. And I love connecting with it because I truly believe your habits will determine your level of success. Habits don't lie. This is Coach Wynn, Mike Wynn from Detroit. See you later.
Hello, I am Onyi Damala McCracken, your holistic business facilitator. I empower entrepreneurs and executives to unlock their full potential, strategically guiding them to transcend boundaries in business, community, and self. Today, I come before you ready to discuss how breaking chains builds resilience, a new mental health paradigm for the Black business community. I'm a fighter. I am a go-getter. From my early memories, the echoes of resilience has been a constant, a rhythm learned within my community. Our legacy marked by love and struggle carries the weight of inherited trauma. This trauma constructs a paradigm that significantly impacts the Black business community, cultivating an environment of self-doubt and internalized limitations. One may question, how does this manifest? Or why does it matter? My answer sparks in its simplicity is this. For too long, we have become accustomed to seeing only one token representative of ourselves in spaces of excellence. We've been conditioned to believe that success is a zero-sum game with room for just one of us at the top. This mindset, this tokenism, isn't just an external issue. It festers within us, creating invisible chains of mental health stigmas that seldomly are acknowledged, let alone addressed. We're expected to bear the weight of the world, to be strong when everyone else around us yields to weakness. This expectation isn't new. This is a lesson handed down from our ancestors, a mantra whispered into our ears. Be smart, work harder than your peers, and perhaps you'll be seen as equal. But as we navigate these trials, as we wrestle with these chains, we've also recognized our power to change the narrative. We're more than tokens. We're trailblazers, paving a new path, ourselves and for the generations to come. This path forward, however, requires us to confront and transform the damaging stigma associated with mental health in our community. We must cultivate a space where our struggles can be voiced, where help seeking is seen as an act of strength and not a sign of weakness. It's about empowerment, which begins with embracing the concept of resilience, not just as a survival mechanism, but as a tool for thriving. It's about understanding that resilience can act as a bridge, connecting us from past hardships to a future filled with potential. And this isn't a solitude journey. It involves collaboration, both within our community and beyond it. Let's hold mankind accountable. And we must take up space. We are better together. We need to foster connections, build supportive networks, and challenge the isolation that is so often accompanied with mental health issues. In our capacity as entrepreneurs and executives, we hold the power to break through these barriers. We can intertwine our business strategies with our personal growth, leveraging the lessons we learned from our experience to forge a holistic path towards success in business, community, and self. Our aim is not only to redefine our personal narrative, but to reshape the landscapes of the Black community and the Black business community. By breaking these chains, we can build a future that supports mental well-being, celebrates diversity, and nurtures the boundless potential within each of us. The journey to change begins within us, our minds, and in our hearts. Embracing daily affirmation is one powerful way to step towards this path. Let us remember ourselves through these mantras. I'm going to repeat them twice. Write them down. Make sure you say this to yourself daily. My efforts are seen and valued. My efforts are seen and valued. I am the architect of my success, and only I outline its dimensions. I am the architect of my success, and only I outline its dimensions. It is perfectly acceptable, even necessary, to rest. I've earned it. It is perfectly acceptable, even necessary, to rest. I've earned it. My ability to create wealth extends beyond the confines of my current net worth. My ability to create wealth extends beyond the confines of my current net worth. Every day, I will love and honor myself more. Every day, I will love and honor myself more. By internalizing these affirmations, we set the stage for a mindset shift, opening our spirits to new transformative possibilities. As we undertake this journey, let's remember to hold ourselves accountable, our mind, body, and spirit. This isn't just about individual transformation, though. It's about collective evolution. It's about redefining our narratives, amplifying our networking efforts, harnessing the power of resilience, and demolishing mental health stigmas that have held us back. In doing so, we're not just creating an exclusive mental health environment for Black entrepreneurs and professionals. We're carving out a space where we all can thrive individually and collectively. It's not just about breaking chains. It's about building bridges, creating pathways to success, and championing a new paradigm where mental health is valued, nurtured, and celebrated. That's the future we're fighting for. That's the legacy we're building, and together we can make it a reality.
All right. Well, welcome and happy Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm so thrilled that you chose to drop in. My name is Nicole Williams. I'm the head of an award-winning media arts company called Eclectically You Experience. Now, I also happen to be the author of 35 Love Notes to Self. And today we're going to tap into some of those affirmations that I wrote to get me through some challenging times. And I also encourage you to write your own as well. So I want you to use this time to have it be your time, your me time. And I want you to curate your own statements of positivity and all that good stuff. Okay? So we're going to get started. Now, I pulled out some that are pretty popular among readers. And I want you to repeat after me 3 times, just so we can cement it in our mind, our body, and our soul. And then after that, after you've said it, think about the thematic message of that, and then write down, while it's still fresh, what it is that you are, in your own words, I am, and then put it on paper. And then you'll put, because of this, I will. And the reason I want you to do this is we can say all day long things that are positive, right? But to make it really meaningful to us, we have to make sure we can regurgitate that information in our own way. And we need to put an action plan already in place in order for that to really go from it being a saying and a doing, okay? So if you'll see here, for instance, the way the book is made, I put the affirmation I'm going to read out here, and then you'll put on your own sheet of paper or whatever you want this statement here, okay? So this is your love note to self. I am, and then because of this, I will. So that's very important, okay? All right, so let's get started. Before we go into making statements, let's just pay attention to our surroundings, okay? So just kind of sit somewhere comfortably, wherever. It could be on the floor, it could be on a bed, it could be on a couch, it can just be in a chair, wherever you can just sit comfortably. Now you can take as long as you need to. I'm just kind of going to go through it pretty quickly, just so you can get the gist of how to keep this going in your own natural routine. So first, let's think about sensory detail, okay? What is it that you see? Find 3 items in your atmosphere that you can focus on and just quietly get there and stay there, okay? Now, of course, for the duration of the presentation, I'll go faster than normal, but you could dwell on those things. So now that we've done that, I want us to get on into our affirmations, okay? We should be feeling a little more centered and anchored so we can let this sink in. Let's start with day 1. Day 1 is always a good one to bring in what we're doing here. It says, I breathe in blessings. I breathe out burdens. A safe place is created when I live simply but deeply. I am balanced and steady. So I want you to repeat after me 3 times. Remember, I am balanced and steady. I am balanced and steady. I am balanced and steady. Okay, and here's where I would like for you to think about, how are you based on this affirmation? I breathe in blessings. I breathe out burdens. A safe place is created when I live deeply and simply. I am balanced and steady. So I want you to stop this if you need to. Take your time. This is your time. Put a note to self somewhere where it matters to you. I am what? Because of this, I will, and you fill in the blank. So you got it? Okay, so
As far as time, I'm going to go to the next one, but you can pause and play as much as you need to. Okay, we're going to skip around a bit. Let's go to day 5. Now, I see the past, present, and future in proper perspective. I celebrate each windows and doors of opportunity open. I can enjoy the fruits of my labor. I am planted in victory. So I want you to repeat after me. I am planted in victory. And then you do it as many times as you need to. All right, so we get the hang of it, right? Now the next one is my spiritual and physical house is in order. My spiritual and physical house is in order. This is the part I actually want you to repeat. When chaos forms, I know where to aim without any doubt. When chaos forms, I know where to aim without any doubt. And then you repeat as many times as possible, and then write your note to yourself, okay? So everybody's life is so different. And yes, we all can, have a commonality with the main affirmation, but what makes this so special is you are making it your own on the right side, okay? All right, so day 9, let's skip. I know my limitations and I embrace my humanity. I find beauty in my imperfections. So I want you to repeat after me. As I strive to better myself, I am not harsh to myself. As I strive to better myself, I am not harsh to myself. So then you'll pause and make a note to yourself. How are you going to live this out? I am, and then you say, because of this, I will. All right, I'm skipping again. It says, I internalize love in a meaningful and lasting way. I strive to be healthy and whole. So you'll repeat this part. I attract what and who I am. Okay, let's skip around. I'm getting us through. This is day 15. I bless the blessed. I celebrate others who are doing well where I aspire to improve. I am happy for others' success. I strive for balance in my efforts. I know when to let others help. Here's what you are to repeat. I am surrendering. I am delegating. So those 2 statements, repeat those 2 statements as many times as you need to. All right, so day 16, I don't let the bad ruin a lot of good. I don't let the bad ruin a lot of good. So just repeat this part. I see the bright side. All right, here's another one. I'm trying to give y'all at least 10 out of 35 to kind of hold on to. It says, I am not operating out of fear, period. I don't let outside opinions make my next move or keep me from making a move ordained by my creator. So whoever that creator is that you acknowledge, you can say that, okay? And then say this after me. I am courageous. I am courageous. All right, we're almost done. Okay, I'm skipping to the 30s because I want to give you some of the last ones. 33. It says, I embrace and range in diverse ideas, styles, and taste. I am eclectic. So repeat after me. I am eclectic. And then I'm going to leave you with this last one. It says, I refuse to let anyone keep me stagnant. And you'll repeat this part. I am moving forward, fulfilling my destiny. Bottom line. And we're going to end there. Well, thank you so much. Hopefully you got something out of those affirmations and also that journaling time. Once again, I'm Nicole Williams, and I am just so happy that you dropped in. And I love to hear from you. Which ones spoke to you the most? Which ones are going to carry you into the new season? And yes, show us some love on social media. Until then, bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Stephanie Shannon. I'm the founder and CEO of Michigan Women Veterans Empowerment. It's a faith-based nonprofit organization that empowers all veterans, service members, their family members, the youth, in the 8 dimensions of wellness. I'm also an Amazon best-selling author of the book, Battling the Storm Within. It details my journey of living 20 years undiagnosed with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, caused by MST, military sexual trauma, and the Gulf War illness. Also, I'm a second author of a book called Our Voices United. It's an anthology book project of 9 women veteran stories and poems. It's very dynamic. I'm here to speak on a topic of debunking the stigma of mental health, mental illness in the BIPOC community. BIPOC, B-I-P-O-C, means Black Indigenous People of Color. Often when we think of mental health and mental illness, it has a very negative tone to it. Most of the time when people say mentally ill, they think, oh, they're crazy. They're crazy people. They're out of their mind. They can't possibly be worth anything. And I can say that's far from the truth. I lived 20 years undiagnosed with PTSD because of those stigmas. I worked as a professional. I had a bachelor's in psychology, a booming career. But what I did not have was what I needed internally. See, it's very important that we look at things not just on the exterior, as far as our hair, our makeup, our bodies, the car we drive, the career we have. The things like that, that's great. But everything starts within. And me not dealing and investing in my mental health, I end up paying for it. I actually became a homeless veteran. I actually lost everything I had because I didn't take care of myself. And it's very important that we understand that mental illness in the Black community is a huge issue. Most of the time when you hear mental illness, we direct it towards the white community and we say that's their problem. They're the ones that are causing all the trauma in the communities that we have. They're the ones oppressing everyone. But also the issue is with Black Americans. We make up 13% in the nation, but we only invest 10% of us invest in mental health services. There's several barriers to that, and I know the nature of that issue is trust. Can we trust the person? Can we trust the institution? Can we trust the service provider to hear us clearly, to where they understand our language, understand the verbiage we're speaking, understand what I'm saying without misinterpreting or determining that I need deeper help or I need to be institutionalized? I understand those perspectives because I experienced it myself. Seeking out mental health treatment was tough for me because it was so hard to find a Black woman psychiatrist or a therapist. 4.7% of psychologists are African American. That's in the whole nation. Only 4% of therapists are Black. So just imagine, it doesn't even equate to our population. There's 44 million of us. That's not enough Black therapists and psychiatrists to go around. The challenges we have here is barriers to healthcare. Is 10% of the Black population doesn't even have medical care, let alone mental health care. And then the treatment that comes along with it. You have several issues of accessing mental health care. The main issue I feel the social stigma stems from validation, validating ourselves. We want to feel good about ourselves. We want to feel like there's nothing wrong. Oh, this is just a little bout. I'm going through a loss of job. So once I get another job, I'll feel better. Oh, I've been through a bad marriage or abusive relationship. Once I made a better guy, I'll get better. Or things of the nature of, well, once I get more resources in my life, I'll be fine. And that's what I told myself for so many years. It was like, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me, but actually was. And I'm just here to speak to you candidly that the longer you wait to take care of your mental health and take care of yourself, the worse it's going to get. It's toxic. It's not healthy to neglect yourself. The thing I had the issue with was labels, being diagnosed with PTSD or anxiety or depression, and the need for having to invest in mental health treatment, let alone be on medication. My Black female psychiatrist helped me so much with that. She took away the negativity I had in regards to, I don't want to be on medication. I just need someone to talk to, or I'll just pray it through. Even though I am a licensed ordained minister, I can truly tell you this, that no prayer, no oil on my forehead, no altar calls did what I needed totally. Now, it's very important that we invest in our spiritual health, but our mental health is also psychologically determined within our psyche, and also it can be a chemical imbalance. The Black community has a history of self-medicating, of using substances to treat our condition, having a drink here, smoke here, or it could be other addictions. But I just want to share this issue with you to encourage you to understand that reaching out for medical, let alone medical, but mental health treatment is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. Seeking out help in regards to what you're experiencing in your life, expecting your friends and family to be that sounding board, they're not professionals. They're not able to help you. Sometimes you even lose people because what you're sharing with them is too much. And often what we're doing is dumping on each other, and we're not able to help each other. There's several resources out here for African Americans now. And some of these I want to encourage you to participate in is NAMI. NAMI is a National Alliance for Mental Health. You can just Google them. They have it's all over the nation. They have all kinds of resources. SAM, I'm gonna spell it out, SAMHSA, which is a Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration. You can reach them at 1-800-662-4357. If you're in a mental health crisis, you can text 988 or even call it. And if you have a spiritual leader or a pastor, someone that is capable of counseling you and keeping your confidentiality, that's something to reach out to. And also I can say this to myself and to others. I decided to create a happy place. I determined what was good for me. I began to eliminate things that wasn't no longer service for me. I eliminated people that criticized me and didn't support me. I eliminated people that broke my trust. When I did share with them my struggles, instead of mocking me, I surrounded my people that were life givers. It's so important that you invest in yourself. No one's going to do that for you. Expecting a partner or someone else to save you from yourself is not realistic and it's not healthy. So I encourage you in this month of mental health awareness, and with the suicide rate going off the scales, with the lack of access to medical and mental health treatment, it's very important that you take time out for yourself and then own your issues. If you experience some type of abuse or trauma, reach out to someone likewise. There's several online communities available for you to connect with people that have had similar struggles and overcame. If I did not invest in my mental health, if I didn't own what's my stuff, if I didn't set boundaries and decided to put a plan in action, I wouldn't be here today. I'm a veteran. 22 veterans commit suicide every day. And I did not want to transfer that pain onto my family and to my son. I wanted my son to experience a healthier mother. So please feel free to reach out to me at empower.mywomenvets.com. You can reach me on Facebook at Michigan Women Veterans Empowerment. I'm on Twitter at Battling Storms. I'm here to advocate, to try to connect you to services, to be a voice for the voiceless. All along, I'm here to encourage you that you are important and that your life matters. So take that power back into your hand and take care of your mental health so you can have a better life for yourself. I'm signing off now and saying, God bless you and take care.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining my workshop today, Thriving Against the Odds, Female Black Entrepreneurship. My name is Chanell and I'm a licensed clinical social worker, business strategist, and the CEO and founder of Healing Springs Wellness Center. I help mental health therapists and female entrepreneurs to create a sustainable and profitable business without sacrificing their well-being. I'm passionate about helping individuals achieve the income, impact, and the happiness that they deserve. So today we will be talking about the challenges that Black female entrepreneurs face when creating a business and how those challenges can impact both their business and their emotional health. So I want you to know that it is more than possible to achieve both personal and professional success. And despite what we have been conditioned to believe, that you can have it all both in life and business. This does require some proactive steps in doing some healing work and mindset work. That may mean investing in some mental health therapy, doing some coaching, and engaging in a supportive and empowering community. When doing the work, we can cultivate more confidence, feel more comfortable seeking and creating opportunities, and building the emotional resilience to navigate any challenges that we may foresee. And also being able to develop the growth mindset that allows for more abundance in both our life and business. So before we move forward and talk about the 4 key strategies on how to create more success in your life and business, I do want to acknowledge some of the challenges that we encounter as Black entrepreneurs and business owners. As a Black female who owns a wellness center, I've had my fair share of challenges and barriers as I grew the profitability in my business. One of those challenges that we encountered is having the lack of education and understanding on how to access capital in our business. I know that I didn't grow up learning about financial management and how to use loans and grants to grow my business. It wasn't until I went through a BIPOC accelerated program that really focused on helping Black entrepreneurs grow their business and give them the knowledge and tools that I learned about how to access loans and grants and really be able to use that to elevate my business. My business has grown by 50% just by using capital. The other challenge that we face is the discrimination and bias. Bias can really create barriers when seeking funding and other business resources. It really is unfortunate that we have to overcome additional hurdles compared to our counterparts, but that is really the reality. So being able to really acknowledge those biases and again, aligning yourself with people and community that will be able to support you and help you to navigate those challenges is so important. You don't need to do it by yourself. The other thing is sacrificing our well-being for success. I know that for me, I had this whole idea that I had to really work hard to achieve my success. And that sometimes meant sacrificing both my emotional, physical, and even relationships in my life. This really can lead to burnout and stress. What's the sense of having a business, a successful business, if you don't feel emotionally well, if you're physically ill, and you can't really enjoy the people in your lives? So we really need to really focus on finding balance, life-work balance, and being able to attend to both our emotional and physical health. So let's talk about the 4 key strategies in creating more success in your life and business. The 4 strategies include cultivating an abundant mindset, cultivating your emotional wellness, setting boundaries, and engaging in a supportive community. So let's talk about the abundant mindset. As entrepreneurs, it's important, again, to adopt an abundant mindset because it empowers you to embrace any challenges as a valuable learning lesson and approach your entrepreneurial journey with optimism and resilience. It does require you to have faith in your abilities and trusting that what you envision for your life and business will come true in your divine timing. So with having an abundant mindset, we don't doubt that our dreams or the success of our business will happen. We just need to take those actionable steps to make it happen. So the next strategy is cultivating your emotional wellness. What is the sense of having a business when you can't enjoy it? What is the sense of having a business when your physical or your mental health is declining? It's important for you to find balance in both your professional and personal life. That means taking care of your emotional well-being and knowing that it's equally as important as managing the business operations. I know a lot of us have been conditioned in this work hard mentality that we have to work hard and sacrifice our health in order to be successful. So being able to engage in self-care practices such as meditation, mental health therapy, being able to connect with like-minded community of people that are maybe doing the gym or yoga, anything that's really going to cultivate your well-being. The other thing is that the benefit of going to mental health therapy is that you can really recognize any old patterns, conditioning, or self-limiting beliefs that may impact how you run your business. Some of my clients have had issues when it came to growing up with a lack of resources, whether housing, food, and that again ties back into the scarcity mindset. And that might impact the way that they handle money or the risks that they take or lack of risk that they take in your business. So being able to really recognize any signs and heal from old wounds will be helpful. And therapy is a great sounding board as you're navigating this entrepreneurial world, which there is a lot of ups and downs. So it's, again, important to really focus on your emotional well-being and also your physical well-being. The third strategy is being able to set boundaries. Boundaries help you to learn how to treat yourself and help others to learn how to treat you. An example of boundaries is if you have a team, being able to set clear expectations, have good time management skills, and be able to know when to stay in your lane. I know graphic design and designing stuff on Canva is not my thing, so I'm going to be able to delegate that and make peace with that. So boundaries help you to leave room for you, for more joy, for more self-care, and again, just gives you an opportunity to have more of a collaborative approach during your entrepreneurial journey. Last and favorite strategy is having a supportive community of like-minded individuals to be able to mentor you, hold you accountable, validate you, and support you as you are achieving your dreams. My favorite is being in a mastermind, a business mastermind, because it will help you to be inspired and see people on different levels, whether they have achieved the goals that you're looking for, or just give you the creative ideas and support you need to excel in your business. Community doesn't always have to be business related as well. I love being in a spiritual community. I love being in a community of people that focus on their well-being. So understanding that there's also balance in what type of community you're looking for and that you can have multiple. Let's face it, as entrepreneurs, our families, our friends may not always get the journey that we are on. And so having people that truly understand is going to feel so amazing. I just want to conclude the workshop, but I want to extend my deepest gratitude for you being a part of this workshop. And I just want to remind you, as a Black female entrepreneur, as a Black entrepreneur, to trust in your abilities, focus on your goals, and know that you do not have to do this alone. We will defy our limitations. We will create a future where success has no boundaries. Remember an abundant mindset, because that will help you to know that there are unlimited resources and opportunities, and you can have it all. Please continue to dream big unapologetically.
All right, and there you have it. Thank you so much again for joining us for this session of the Black Mental Health Speaker Series. Now, remember, this is just one session of our 6-part series, so be sure to tap in for all the remaining sessions. To make it easy, you can just subscribe to the Black Speakers Network channel on YouTube. Be sure to hit that notification bell and be the first to know when future sessions are shared. I think it's safe to agree that the insights, experiences, and expertise shared today by our speakers in the mental health space have been nothing short of enlightening. So I want to thank all of our speakers once again. As we close for now, remember that the conversation doesn't have to end here. We encourage you to take these conversations, these thoughts, these ideas, go back into your communities, into your companies, and continue the conversation. As you have heard earlier, the speaker series just represents a small fraction of the wealth and the opportunities right here at Black Speakers Network. And so if you are a current or aspiring professional speaker and you're looking for your next stage, look no further. I invite you to join the Black Speakers Network community. You can get more information at blackspeakersnetwork.com/join. Now, if you are a meeting planner, you're a conference organizer, you have an event coming up and you're looking for the perfect speaker to impact your audience, again, look no further. We would love to connect you. You could browse our online directory of speakers right now at blackspeakersnetwork.com, or you can submit a speaker request and we will make sure you are covered for your next event. That's live or virtual, or in person or virtual. But that is it. Goodbye for now. And thank you once again for joining the Black Mental Health Speaker